stop right now and listen to the words running through your mind. Are they pushing you forward or holding you back? Because here's the truth. Your words create your reality. The way you talk to yourself determines the energy you bring, the confidence you build, and the action you take. And for the next 3 days, I challenge you to speak with power, with certainty, with the language of a winner. No more doubt, no more hesitation. You are going to train your mind like a champion. Change your words, change your state, and you will change your life. Your words are the most powerful tool you have. Every thought you think, every phrase you speak, whether out loud or in your mind, is shaping the way you see yourself, the way you see the world, and ultimately the way you live your life. Most people don't even realize this. They go through their days repeating the same self-defeating language, reinforcing patterns that hold them back, and then they wonder why nothing changes. But here's the truth. Your words are commands to your subconscious mind. Whatever you say with consistency, your brain will work to make it a reality. If you tell yourself you're exhausted, you'll feel more tired. If you say you're bad at something, you'll prove yourself right. And if you constantly reinforce doubts and limitations, you'll live inside those limits. But the opposite is also true. If you start speaking the language of strength, if you consistently tell yourself you are capable, powerful, and resourceful, then your mind will align with that reality. Think about it. How do the most successful people talk to themselves? They don't wake up saying, I hope today isn't too bad. They wake up declaring, today is going to be an incredible day. They don't say, I don't know if I can handle this. They say, I always find a way. They don't feed themselves excuses. They give themselves power through their words. And that's what you need to start doing. For the next 3 days, I challenge you to take full control of the way you speak to yourself. No more negativity, no more self-doubt, no more disempowering language. Only words that build you up, words that push you forward, words that make you feel unstoppable. Because when you do this, you will begin to feel the shift. You will notice your energy change. You will notice your confidence grow. And most importantly, you will start taking action like the person you are meant to be. This isn't just about positive thinking. This is about rewiring your brain to focus on solutions instead of problems, to see opportunities instead of obstacles, to step into the strongest version of yourself. And that starts by being intentional with your words. Imagine if instead of saying, I can't do this, you said, I'm figuring this out. How much more powerful does that feel? Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, what if you told yourself, I am more than enough, and I'm getting stronger every day? The words you choose create the emotional state you live in, and your emotional state determines your actions, and your actions create your life. If you want to break free from limitations, start with your language. Catch yourself when you're speaking in a way that disempowers you. Stop mid-sentence if you have to, and immediately replace it with something that moves you forward. If you say, I'm terrible at this, shift it to, I'm learning and improving every day. If you catch yourself saying, nothing ever works out for me, change it to, I create my own success through action and persistence. This simple shift, done repeatedly, will transform the way you think, the way you feel, and ultimately the way you show up in your life. The most successful, fulfilled, and confident people don't wait to feel good before they speak with power. They speak with power, and that creates the feeling. And that's what I want you to do. For 3 days, commit to this practice. Speak with strength, even if you don't feel it yet. Talk to yourself the way a champion talks, because the truth is, you're training your brain every single day, either training it to believe in your potential or training it to stay small. And the moment you start speaking the right way, your brain will respond. This is your moment. Choose your words wisely. Speak the life you want into existence and watch what happens when you do. For the next 3 days, you are going to commit to something that has the power to transform your mindset, your confidence, and your entire life. The way you talk to yourself has been shaping your reality up until now, whether you've realized it or not. Most people live their lives allowing negative thoughts to dictate how they feel and what they do. They repeat the same old limiting beliefs, reinforcing doubts, fears, and insecurities. But what if you made a conscious decision to break that cycle? What if for just 3 days, you eliminated every single negative phrase from your self-talk and replaced it with words that empower you? You would experience a shift so profound that you'd never want to go back to the old way of thinking. Your brain is constantly listening to the words you say, both out loud and internally. It doesn't differentiate between jokes, sarcasm, or exaggeration. It takes your words literally and works to make them true. If you say, I'm terrible at this, your mind immediately starts looking for proof to confirm that belief. If you tell yourself you're exhausted, your body responds by feeling even more drained. But if you flip the script and say, I have more than enough energy to get through this, your mind and body adjust accordingly. This isn't wishful thinking, it's neuroscience. Your brain is wired to reinforce whatever you repeatedly tell it. So if you want to change your reality, you must start by changing the way you speak to yourself. For the next 3 days, every single time you catch yourself engaging in negative self-talk, stop immediately. Don't let the words leave your mouth, and if they're already in your mind, replace them before they take root. Instead of I can't do this, say I am fully capable and I'll figure it out. Instead of I'm not good enough, say I am more than enough and I'm getting better every day. This isn't about ignoring challenges or pretending problems don't exist. It's about choosing a mindset that allows you to overcome those challenges rather than be defeated by them. To take this even further, you're not just going to replace negative thoughts, you're going to speak powerfully with energy and conviction. Most people say affirmations in a passive, unconvincing way. They mumble words without feeling and then wonder why nothing changes. But here's the secret: emotion creates reality. When you declare something with power, when you say it with certainty, your brain and body respond differently. Try this right now. Say, I am unstoppable in a weak, quiet voice. You probably don't feel much, right? Now say it again, but this time say it with strength. Stand up, put your shoulders back, take a deep breath, and say it like you mean it. I am unstoppable. Do you feel the difference? That energy shift is the key. Because when you speak with power, your physiology changes, your posture improves, your breathing deepens, your confidence rises, and suddenly what once felt impossible now feels within reach. This is why the way you talk to yourself isn't just about words, it's about creating an emotional state that fuels action. The most successful people in the world don't just think differently, they speak differently. They use words that empower them. They don't wake up saying, I hope today isn't too bad. They wake up saying, I'm going to dominate today. They don't say, I don't know if I can handle this. They say, I always find a way. They don't just whisper empty affirmations. They declare their greatness with energy, enthusiasm, and belief. And now it's your turn. For the next 3 days, you're going to speak as if you are the most confident, powerful, and capable version of yourself. Even if you don't fully believe it yet, you're going to act as if you do. Because here's what happens. When you consistently tell yourself something with enough intensity, your mind starts to accept it as truth. You literally rewire your brain for success. So commit to this. No more weak language. No more self-doubt. No more hesitation. Every word you speak will either move you closer to success or pull you further away from it. Choose wisely, speak with power, and watch how your world begins to change. The way you use your body directly influences the way you think, feel, and speak to yourself. If you've ever noticed how you carry yourself when you're feeling down, you'll realize that your shoulders slump, your breathing becomes shallow, and your movements slow down. Now compare that to how you stand when you're feeling confident and excited. Your chest is up, your breathing is deep, and your energy is high. This is not a coincidence. Your emotions are directly tied to your physical state. And the fastest way to shift your mindset is to change your physiology. Most people try to change their thoughts first, but that's like trying to push a car uphill in neutral. It takes too much effort. Instead, you can instantly change your emotional state by moving differently, by using your body with power, energy, and certainty. When you combine this with powerful self-talk, you create an unstoppable force inside yourself. Imagine saying, I am strong, I am confident, I am in control, while standing tall, breathing deeply, and using your full voice. Now imagine saying the same words while slouching, mumbling, and looking down. The words are the same, but the impact is completely different because your body is sending a different signal to your brain. For the next 3 days, you're not just going to change the way you talk to yourself, you're going to change the way you move. Anytime you catch yourself feeling doubt, fear, or hesitation, don't just shift your thoughts, shift your body. Stand up, pull your shoulders back, take a deep breath, and move with purpose. This tells your brain that you are in control, and suddenly the negative emotions lose their grip on you. When you need motivation, don't wait for it. Create it by changing your physiology. Jump up, clap your hands, move around, or take a power stance. It might feel strange at first, but your brain responds instantly. Think about the most confident, powerful people in the world. Do they walk slowly with their heads down? Do they hesitate when they speak? No. They move with certainty, they gesture with purpose, they breathe deeply, and they own the space they're in. That's not just a personality trait, it's a habit. It's something you can practice and develop. If you want to feel unstoppable, start moving like you already are. If you want to feel more confident, start standing like you already have all the confidence you need. Here's a challenge for you. For the next 3 days, every time you speak to yourself, use your body to reinforce the message. If you're saying, I am strong, say it while standing with power. If you're saying, I am capable, say it while looking up, breathing deeply, and moving with confidence. If you're saying, I always find a way, say it with energy and conviction. The more emotion and movement you put into your words, the more your brain will believe them. This isn't just about positive thinking. It's about programming yourself for success. When you combine powerful self-talk with powerful movement, you create an unstoppable momentum. Suddenly, the doubts fade, the hesitation disappears, and you start taking action like the person you were always meant to be. Your mind follows your body. So move like a champion, speak like a leader, and watch how quickly your world transforms. Most people go through life without ever realizing the power of the thoughts running through their minds. They assume their self-talk is just background noise, something they have no real control over. But here's the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. And that means you have the power to change them. The problem is that most people allow negative thoughts to dominate their minds without ever questioning them. They've been repeating the same disempowering beliefs for so long that they've become automatic. But what if, instead of letting those thoughts control you, you took control of them? What if for the next 3 days, you made a conscious decision to interrupt every negative pattern the moment it appears? This is what successful people do. They don't just accept every thought that comes into their mind as truth. They challenge it, they reframe it, they redirect it, and in doing so, they take control of their emotions, their actions, and ultimately their results. The key is to become aware of the patterns that have been holding you back. Most of the negative things we say to ourselves aren't even our own. They were given to us by society, by teachers, by parents, by past failures. And because we've repeated them so often, they feel true. But they are nothing more than a habit, a pattern you can break the moment you decide to. For the next 3 days, I challenge you to be hyper aware of every thought and word that comes out of your mouth. Anytime you catch yourself saying something negative, stop. Literally, say stop out loud if you have to. This is called a pattern interrupt, and it forces your brain to pause instead of continuing down a negative spiral. Once you've stopped the thought, replace it immediately with something empowering. Let's say you think, I'll never be able to do this. Interrupt it and replace it with, I'm still learning, and I always figure things out. If you catch yourself saying, I'm not smart enough, replace it with, I am resourceful, and I can develop any skill I need. If you feel like saying, I always fail, interrupt it and say, every setback is a setup for a comeback. This process might feel strange at first because your brain is used to running on autopilot. But once you start doing this consistently, you'll realize something incredible. Your thoughts are not facts. They are just habits. And you have the power to change them at any time. The key is to do this immediately. Don't wait. The longer you allow a negative thought to run in your mind, the more power it gains. Think of it like a spark that can turn into a wildfire. If you catch it early and put it out, it never has the chance to grow. But if you let it go unchecked, it can take over. So for the next 3 days, be relentless. Anytime a limiting belief shows up, stop it in its tracks and replace it with a thought that empowers you. You might be wondering, will this really make a difference? The answer is yes, because your brain is always looking for proof of what you believe. If you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, your mind will find evidence to support that. But the moment you start saying, I am more than enough, your brain will start looking for proof of that instead. And over time, this shifts your entire reality. This isn't about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing the perspective that gives you the most power. When something doesn't go your way, instead of saying, I always mess things up, say, this is a learning experience, and I'm growing from it. Instead of, I can't handle this, say, I am strong, and I find solutions. Instead of, I'm not lucky, say, I create my own opportunities through action. The more you do this, the more automatic it becomes. At first, you'll have to be intentional about catching negative thoughts and replacing them, but over time, your brain will start doing it automatically. You will train yourself to think like a winner, to speak like a leader, and to act with confidence. This is how you take control of your mind. This is how you build unstoppable momentum. It all starts with recognizing that you are the master of your thoughts, not the victim of them. So for the next 3 days, catch yourself. Interrupt the negativity, replace it with power, and watch how quickly your mindset begins to shift. So the words you speak shape the identity you live by. Every time you say, I am this or I am that, you are reinforcing a belief about yourself, whether you realize it or not. And over time, those beliefs become the foundation of who you are. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good at speaking, or I'm not confident, your brain accepts that as truth and finds ways to confirm it. But if you decide to shift your language, if you start saying, I am a powerful communicator, or I radiate confidence, your brain begins working to align your actions with that new belief. The biggest mistake people make is thinking their identity is fixed. They believe they are just the way they are because they've been a certain way for so long. But the truth is, your identity is nothing more than a collection of repeated thoughts, words, and actions. And just as you once trained yourself to believe certain things about yourself, you can retrain yourself to believe something new. The key is to become aware of the identity you are reinforcing through your words. Every time you say, I am lazy, or I am bad with money, or I am always unlucky, you are making that part of who you are. You are programming your brain to look for proof that those statements are true. And as long as you keep speaking those words, your reality will reflect them. But what if for the next 3 days you decided to rewrite your story? What if you started using words that build the identity you actually want? Instead of saying, I'm bad at this, you say, I am someone who learns quickly. Instead of I always procrastinate, you say, I take action immediately and follow through. Instead of I'm not disciplined, you say, I am committed and I keep my promises to myself. At first, your brain might resist. It might say, that's not true, I've always been this way. But remember, your past does not define your future, your words do. If you keep reinforcing an old identity, you will keep living by it. But if you start reinforcing a new identity, your brain will adapt. You will start acting in alignment with the words you speak. The fastest way to change your life is to change the way you describe yourself. Think of it this way. If you repeatedly tell yourself, I hate working out, you will never feel motivated to exercise. But if you start saying, I am the kind of person who loves movement and takes care of my body, you will begin to shift your behavior to match that identity. If you always say, I'm bad at handling money, you will continue to make financial mistakes. But if you say, I am someone who is smart and responsible with money, you will begin to make better financial choices, even if they are small at first. This is how change happens, not by forcing yourself to act differently for a few days, but by shifting the way you see yourself. Because when your identity shifts, your actions follow naturally. You no longer have to push yourself to be disciplined, focused, or confident. It becomes who you are. This is why the next 3 days are so important. You are going to be extremely mindful of the words you use to describe yourself. Anytime you catch yourself saying something disempowering, stop immediately and rewrite the sentence. You are no longer going to speak in a way that limits you. You are only going to use words that strengthen you, words that build the identity you want to step into. Imagine yourself 6 months from now living as your most powerful self. How does that version of you talk? What kind of words do they use to describe themselves? How do they think? How do they move? If you can see it in your mind, you can create it in your reality. But it starts with the language you choose. For the next 3 days, commit to speaking only in a way that reinforces the identity you want to embody. No more negativity. No more words that weaken you, only words that empower you, push you forward, and align you with the person you are becoming. Because the words you choose today will shape who you become tomorrow.